Good evening, everyone. My name is Asha Salim. Ours is a project on education. So our presentation focuses on PPPs based on education, and it's going to focus on the analysis conducted on partnerships between Ministry of Education and SETA High School in particular. So I'm going to tell you about Ministry of Education, what it is. So Ministry of Education is a subnational government agency that that politically addresses in educational concerns in Uganda. And SETA High School is a private school that was opened in 2001. It provides educational services under Ministry of Education. So it's registered with Ministry of Education, and it has, what is it called? Center number. So yeah, so this presentation, okay, let me tell you about the kind of PPP this is. It's a service contract and a revenue model. So yeah, then, okay, so this presentation is going to focus on an analysis, okay, in-depth analysis that's going to give you the objectives, challenges, strategies, recommendations. So yeah, my colleagues will talk about all that. So thank you.
Yeah, after what my colleague has talked about, all about the PPP, I'm here to talk about the aims and objectives of the PPP. That's between the Ministry of Education and SETA High School. The first one is to find out the effects of public-private partnership in education service in Uganda. And then that one is self-explanatory. And then the next one is to find out the relationship between public and private institutions. That's in particular the relationship between SETA High School and the Ministry of Education. What relationship do they have in their PPP? And then to find out whether there are partners between the public sector and the private sector in institutions. Of course, the public sector is the Ministry of Education, and then the private sector is SETA High School. And then to identify challenges and benefits in the PPPs. And then the last one is to identify the impacts of the partnership to the community. I think my colleague will continue with that.
Good evening. My name is Okello. So I'm here to take you through legal framework. The education and sports sector general legal framework is derived from the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda under Article 30, where it states that all persons have rights to education following the international legal framework of declarations of human rights. And thereafter, it went on to talk about on Article 34, whereby it's the responsibility of the state and the parents to make sure such rights have been respected. Those who are not able to go to school have got an opportunity through the PPP partnership in education. And thereafter, there is also an act of PPP, which is 2015 Act, which seeks and governs the relationship between the PPPs and the government entities, I mean the public entities. So all those acts have the memorandum of understanding within Education Act. Thank you. I give this opportunity to my colleague.
benefits of this PPP project, our project, education project, to the public. As SETA High School, there are so many graduates that are coming from university, and SETA High School is giving them jobs, so there's an employment.
Don't touch under here. You're shaking, you're just touching this thing. Stand there.
Okay.
Stand there.
Okay. Good evening. The benefits of our project to the public generally. So this project, of course, was looking at SETA High School. The education project was looking at SETA High School. One of the benefits generally are employment opportunities. Very many graduates are coming out of university. Of course, graduates that have done education are coming out of university, and SETA High is employing some of them. Yes, and also apart from the education sector, the non-teaching staff, there's so many. For example, the cleaners, guards, matrons, all of that are employed. That's a benefit to the public sector generally, employment opportunities. Then improved placements for students. Yeah, most students. This school is it's a very good school. I went there. We looked at the school. We got to know how they teach and all that. So there is improved placement for students, and there is so much room for students. They are taking up so many students because they have so many campuses. There is green campus, new campus, and old campus. We were generally dealing with green campus. So there's improved placement for students. Then the curriculum is refined in a way that these children get to the public benefits through, for example, the parents come in and also benefit through the co-curricular activities. They participate with their children during sports days, society days, and all that. Then there's, of course, good access to education. There's improved access to education, which is a benefit to the people around them. Most people who stay even far from Okello have children in SETA High School. Yes.
Good evening. Okay, I'm going to talk about the strategies that we used as a group, and one of them was a questionnaire. We used questionnaires so as we can find what aims and objectives were set by the group, and we came with them. The questions were in form of everyone giving out what they want really to find out from this research work that were given. Then another thing is interviewing. I and my colleague Catherine, we went to SETA High School and we tried to ask, really there are some things that you can't put them in the questionnaire, but you can get them straight from this person that you're encountering with. Then another thing is phone calling. We did too much of the phone calls because getting this information was quite hard, and so we had to follow up through calling them. Sometime this period, I mean the period that we were trying to get our research findings, that is when they were doing UNEB, Uganda National Examination Board, the examinations that they give to senior fours. This is the period that they were doing, so it was really hard for us to find the person that was supposed to give us the information. That was the deputy headmaster or the headmaster. They were up and down, so we had to call them regularly. Then another thing was going definitely to the places. We spent a lot of transport. Money going there and coming back to and fro. And my colleague, Abraham, who also represented us to the Ministry of Education, it was the same thing. He had to follow up for these things. So generally, these are the strategies that we used as a group. Thank you.
Good
Good evening. Lillian is my name, and I'll be taking you through the challenges, the public sector first. First, lack of facilitation to attend the education core activities. For example, the private sectors, they focus on profits. You know, at a high school, it's very expensive. Everything over there is expensive. Yeah, and poor governance in institutions. For example, transparency and accountability. Those public sectors, they don't really give the information to the private sectors. And then consultation is not enough. Like the body is not active. The body in the public sector is not active, so those are the challenges that we face, the public sector has faced.
Okay, I'm back again. Sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Sada Mashaka Msisi, and I'm now going to speak about the challenges we face as a group. One is lack of coordination and cooperation among the group members. Seriously, it was a problem, but we tried to solve it. And another thing is poor communication. Some of our group members do not have WhatsApp phones. Like the most communication that these days we use as students is through WhatsApp and no calls. So it was hard to find some of our colleagues. Then another thing is financial problems. Yeah, it was during the mid of the semester and the end of the semester when we were trying to do this research. And really when it comes to this period, very many of us have these financial problems. Then finding information was really hard because we did too much of the follow-ups. And until the deadline day that had, like the day when it elapsed, we had no work. Like most of the work was not found. As we were supposed to do Uganda Christian University and Seta High, but you can't imagine, the same institution we are in had failed to give us the information we needed. Then another thing is delay in response. One was UCU itself. They did not give us the information. Another thing is that we left them with a questionnaire, but you go to this one and tells you, no, go the other way. I can't give it to you. You would have told me since I gave it to you. Then another thing is long distances. We had to move to Takajunge. Most of you do not know this place, but we had to do that for the betterment of us. Then another thing is missing lectures. Definitely by the time we were going, it was during weekdays. This is the time we could find these people, both in the Ministry of Education and while we were going to Seta High School, we had to find these people there during weekdays. You can't go in the weekends. Another thing is high level of confidentiality. Yeah, it was too much of, there were too much of confidential. Just like I said, Uganda Christian University failed to give us what we needed because I think they're confidential. They do not want whatever is happening to them, whatever they have, to give it to us because maybe they were not, they felt like we could promote whatever thing they have or anything, because some of the questions were really too much of wanting more or wanting a lot. And Seta High School too. Then Jen, come and put the recommendation.
Hello everybody. This is Jenny Patrick, and I'm going to present about the recommendation. Our first one is the cooperation between public and private schools, whereby when we went and gather. Okay, we are recommending the cooperation between private and public schools to come together and cooperate in order to, for students to get better education. Then another recommendation is registration of private schools, whereby to reduce in interrupting the student during the UNIP examination, whereby we found, Okay, private schools, they should be registered in order not to interrupt the student during the UNEB period, like where they should go and do the examination from, like where they should register and all that. Then the standard fee to all institutions. We recommend the private and public schools at least to have like, to balance on the tuition, whereby everybody can be able to get standard education.
Okay, now we are concluding. In conclusion, our group, we called it Wakanda for Education. Why? We are Africans, Africans for education, and all we want is to wipe away or wipe out ignorance in Africa in total. So we are grateful to Mr. Pasqualino Okello because he has given us this chance for the he has given us the chance to find out what really is in our hearts. For one, I like when everyone is educated. And so we have given you a school of reference at a high school. It's really a good school that I encourage you. You have siblings, you have sisters, some of you are going to be mothers and fathers. When you give birth, Seta High School is one of the schools that I can recommend you to take your kids there or your children. So thank you for this opportunity, for listening to us. For whatever we have given you is what we could find. Thank you.
Well, let's hear a huge hand clap for the group. That was very good. Thank you all for your presentations. I think it has been remarkably one of the very best sessions for me in class. The engagement from the students, the contribution, I think the idea of, well, not the idea, but the enthusiasm you have demonstrated has been remarkable. And I think when it comes to the analysis and looking at the different grades, later on we shall have the meeting on Wednesday, I think, or tomorrow, I'm not so sure. I really think a new style, maybe not other classes will be very much engaged. You guys are a bit different in terms of engagement, in terms of taking an initiative, a lead. I can continuously tell you that you've been, of course, as students, there are others who are always having issues, A, B, C, D, but on average, your contribution during the projects, during the challenges, out of 100 could actually be put at 90, generally. I'm telling you, at 90. Of course, the other one is just for, the other 10 is for all of those different challenges you've been experiencing. So I believe it might not necessarily really give you the theoretical part of it, however you've learned from that, but I can guarantee you that the experiences you've had with the different people in the field broadens up your mindset. You tend to meet different people in terms of building networks, but also it tells you exactly how things are done differently out there. You get it? And as a result, you guys, I think there will be no group which is going to go below 20. Yeah, there's definitely no group which is actually below 20. You're all up there. 25. So that would be, that wouldn't be so bad. Okay, right? So I'm very happy. Thanks for the presentation. Tomorrow,